It's been a while, but it's good to be back. Welcome to Decades. Today's topic is an overview of our universe's deep and recent history, and some context for our current reality and for the events of the Big Bang and early universe. This is the context for our cosmic history. The word cosmos in Greek means world, harmony, order, and we're going to find out what that means in these next topics and lectures. We're going to run down what we know from sources like the Smithsonian and Neil deGrasse Tyson. We'll talk about particles, energy, and such, and review everything at the end. By the way, if you don't like the fast or slow pace of the video, feel free to pause it at any time or simply put it at a different speed. So now, to begin, I'll say that my cosmic history info comes from 2017 to today from Stephen Hawking and Neil D. Tyson, as well as the book Universe, the Definitive Visual Guide by the Smithsonian, and a whole bunch of other information comes from the website Britannica, which is basically Wikipedia, a place with a lot of information. It's fancy, but you have to pay for it. I also use Western government research websites like nasa.gov to help clarify certain details as well, and sites like Smithsonian, National Geographic, and high-level universities for the same clarity. And I make sure that this info is correct in my books and Britannica as well. Anyway, that's where I get my information. It should be in the description, and it starts with a singularity. A point in space and time that was infinitely small, infinitely dense, with unlimited power and heat, and infinitely curved, even though it was only a single point. Stephen Hawking himself says, quote, "Space-time is smooth and nearly flat, so it breaks down at the Big Bang singularity where the curvature of space-time is infinite," end quote. Page 49 of A Brief History of Time. So the singularity was infinitely small, dense, hot, and curved. It was a superparticle of pure light, which is pure energy, where stuff that is largely impossible now was very, very common. 13.8 billion years ago, when our current reality started and what's called now the Big Bang. But if you want to be Greek about it, it might be called I Genesis του Ουρανού, the sky's birth. It's Genesis in biblical terms. Anyway, about those 13.8 billion years, that's a ridiculously big number. It's even hard to understand for trained scientists. So let's explain it in easier to comprehend terms. 5 years is often perceived as a very long time. I, for instance, used to be a devout Christian 5 years ago. But after a lot of disillusionment with it, I've entered a more secular part of my life. I used to have a lot of optimism that my life could drastically and realistically improve if I just persevered long enough. A lot of people, notably young people, can change in significant ways in just 5 years. We can often become very different people. Elementary, primary school you would be different from middle school you, who would then be different from high school, college, 20s, 30s, etc. you. A lot can change in a somewhat short or long period of time. And side note, a lot of your body's cells are replaced on a regular basis. Fat and bones are replaced every 10-ish years. Your red blood cells are replaced every 4 months. Stomach and white blood cells are often replaced every few days. But your brain and the surface of your eyes and teeth last pretty much your whole life. So, in many ways, much of your body is replaced every 10 years. But this varies drastically depending on the cell. So, 5 years and 10 years are a long time, and a whole lifetime in the US of about 80 years means many seniors in the 2020s were born often during World War II or just in the 1940s. This is when the Cold War was started. Earlier, the Germans and Japanese were trying to dominate the world. Furthermore, much of the world was covered in oppressive European colonies. The world population was 2.5 billion or less as opposed to 8 billion-ish that we have now. The world was very different 80 years before now. Double those 80 years, and we're in the 1860s. The US Civil War was ongoing. Europe and places like Brazil, India, and China were dominated by kings and rulers who inherited their lands. Queen Victoria was ruler of England and its vast and powerful British Empire. China and Japan were undergoing humiliation and transformation with their emperors' governments and such. 1,000 years ago, we were in medieval times where Vikings were around. Year 1000, everyone was dying of disease like smallpox, and the Byzantine Romans were still a strong empire, like other entities across the world, with, in general, very centralized governments and very powerful emperors, dukes, kings, or whatever. Hello, and thank you for watching and listening. If you like this video, or my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And visit my Patreon. Consider donating to me. Whatever you do, it'll help get more of these videos and the finished documentaries out sooner. I'm trying to make a documentary series that covers everything from the Big Bang and early universe to today in great detail, in 11-minute videos and optional, compiled hour-long lectures, all with great animations, 4K resolution, good music, the works. I want to help push education into a new generation. Please, like, share, subscribe, visit my Patreon, and have a great day. Take care.